Hello, Assalamu alaikum, and this is Ishan Isaac with Ishan on air, and we're live with Legacy Media as well as all over the world through social media, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and Instagram Live. So I would like to welcome all of you because this program is dedicated to all of you and all those who would like to follow the news, and especially with facts. Opinions matter, any opinion matter, but that would be just an opinion. But when you have facts, then you have to dissect right through the BS, cut through the BS, and look at the news information based on those facts and truth, because those are the universal understanding of that is the universal understanding of how humans interact with each other, because without truth we are just going to deceive ourselves, and what kind of life would it be? So Saudi Aramco boss pulls out of major international energy conference due to Iran conflict. So not only the economic impact, but also some of these bosses perhaps are scared to even travel all over the world. That's one argument. The other argument is how are they going to go out of the airspace? But the missiles can still go out of their airspace. So it's mind-boggling that how Saudis are also reacting to it. And we're going to continue to keep an eye on Saudis because they're playing a very interesting game and a double game. Because Trump, on one hand, says that, oh, King is just kissing up to him. And on the other hand, Saudis are also releasing the videos of the US air bases that have been destroyed. So is it a love and hate relationship, or Saudis are waking up to this new reality that they gave billions and trillions of dollars to Trump and not a single missile, or maybe a few missiles were intercepted. But the way missiles have been intercepted with the airspace of Israel, and especially the Iron Dome, which at least to many experts is 90%, but you can also argue, oh, is it 90%? Maybe it's 70%. Is it 60%? Who knows? Who is going and watching all of this? Because no one can even take a picture or video, and they are facing jail time in Israel. So who knows? But on the streets of Tehran, we are seeing devastation. A lot of buildings and people have been killed, and that is also a fact. Houston Chronicle has reported ICE officers confirmed at Bush Airport for second day TSA awaits grow to 4 hours. And this is another interesting thing that Americans are facing, that, well, you voted for Trump, and this is the economy that we have now received, because TSA have not been paid, TSA agents. Then finally, Trump issued an executive order, which another interesting point, that now the president can also do this. Constitutional experts, and if there's something left of the Constitution, then they should be making that argument. So he literally signed something, and then the TSA agents basically got paid. But is this the kind of America that we're going to be living, where now the president has to literally get into each and every administrative aspect of who gets paid and who doesn't get paid? That's one argument. The other argument is that why ICE officers were sent. And that's another thing. Are we normalizing maybe next time the US National Guard should be on our airports, or maybe US military, US Army should be at the airport? So that's another way of looking at this. ABC News has reported, as Trump blocks asylum seekers, Supreme Court to decide if US must review claims. And that's where it has now gone to the US Supreme Court, where they're going to look at whether asylum seekers can be returned back from the port of entry, whether from sea or from the land or from the international airports, wherever they land for asylum, they may be returned back. That would be a departure from long history of the United States, where people have always welcomed asylum seekers with open arms. So that's a new development. Landmark LA jury verdict finds Instagram, YouTube were designed to addict kids. So millions of dollars were allocated to this case. A Los Angeles jury found Instagram and YouTube liable for designing their platforms to addict young users. This landmark verdict is potentially setting precedent for thousands of other pending lawsuits nationwide. The case could reshape how tech companies are held accountable for children's harm from their products. Now, obviously, YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, and Meta, they said that, oh, they put the blame back on parents. But is it going to be parents? Don't they have any accountability or responsibility? And that's where this jury found that they are basically liable for this. The verdict arrives less than 24 hours after a New Mexico jury found Meta liable for $375 million in damages related to Attorney General Raul Torres's claim it turned Instagram into a quote breeding ground unquote for child predators, a decision the platform has vowed to appeal. So we'll continue to keep an eye on this. Why a record number of Republicans are retiring ahead of the midterm? Short answer is they are going to lose. Now, are we going to have elections? Let's wait and keep our fingers crossed that Trump does not postpone the election or declares martial law, as many experts are talking about it. Given this political pressure that he is under, no modern American president has this lowest of approval ratings in the history of modern presidents in the US. So many of these, like two other Republicans, Marjorie Greene Taylor of Georgia and Representative Mark Green of Tennessee, and even in Texas, District 22, if I'm not mistaken, Nels, he is also not, running for election again because they will lose. Or maybe there's some other pressure within the MAGA crowd because I don't know what's going on. Maybe they are afraid of their own lives because this is a very difficult political environment that we are in. Many reasons for leaving, and you can certainly read that political commentary. Another key area in terms of ABC News reported House passes bill to fully fund DHS through May 22nd. What will happen after May 22nd? Again, we're going to go back to another 30, 40 days. Today is the 44th day for the US government that is basically shut down. And that's where Americans need to recognize that what's going on. And that's why I'm really concerned as an American that what is happening to my country. Here, the package did not include money for ICE or parts of CBP, though some agencies continue to receive funds due to an influx of cash provided to the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill passed by Congress last summer. So Trump already infused that cash, but the reality is because of two Americans, and many Americans, in fact, were killed. So the reforms need to happen within ICE and Department of Homeland Security. That's the right thing to do, and that's what Democrats are fighting for. However, Ryan Grimm, who is an author and a journalist, and he also wrote some books. He actually put this on X. Gregory Meeks is now suggesting he might back away from a war powers vote, just as, parentheses, and honestly because it now may have the votes to pass. Democrats secretly want this war to continue because it hurts Trump. And that's where Washington Democrats need to ask this question, who are elected in the House and even the senators. Because the longer this war continues, it's in the favor of Democrats to get so much resentment from the public that people continue to basically use war to gain votes, but at the cost of human lives, at the cost of soldiers dying or getting injured. And that's what needs to be discussed and deliberated by the people. Here you can see these huge I would say streets with full of people, the sea of people, as you can see, even as long as the eye can see. And this is where the No Kings rally happened yesterday, and millions of people basically protested. And now the mainstream media would not cover it. Who is going to be surprised about that? Obviously, mainstream Americans who are not paying attention, they may think that, oh, everything is just hunky-dory, but it's not. AP News has reported Iran-backed Houthis claim first missile launch on Israel as war in the Middle East intensifies. And that's where people are waking up to this reality that this is an illegal war. It is the war where very few Americans, and in fact, you need to literally now find Americans that who are actually for this war, because the polls are showing 70, 80, 90% of Americans are against this war. So perhaps only those who would benefit from this war, or those who are against humanity maybe are for this war, or those who have some other hidden agenda are for this war. And that's where the No Kings protest, thousands rally in Bay Area on Global Day of Action, Philadelphia to Chicago to New York to LA and Boston, you name it. All the major cities in the US people were out on the streets. They said, healthcare, not warfare. And that is true. And that's where why billions of dollars cannot be invested in our healthcare, in our education, in our infrastructure right here in America. But no, they want to send all the money and all these soldiers, and now the families of those soldiers are also out there protesting because they are also thinking and worried that maybe their loved ones going to be called for the ground invasion, another war that could be like or maybe worse than Afghanistan, whereas someone said that it took US $1 trillion and 20 years to replace Taliban with the Taliban. So it's a no-brainer. Now, Rand Paul, who is a US senator, he's saying, quote, our national debt is the greatest threat to our national security. The Iran war costs 1 to 2 billions a day. And some are saying it's almost $3 billion a day. Farmers need billions to offset tariff losses. Storm damage needs billions more. None of it is paid for. All of it is borrowed. And Washington just keeps spending, unquote. And that is obviously a very siloed or a minor voice, although he's a Republican, but even many Republicans don't like Rand Paul because he speaks truthfully on many occasions. And here we tend to agree with him. Iran also has said that they denied first any talks with US following Trump's remarks, as reported by ABC and their sister television stations. Iranian news agencies say no negotiations with US, dispute Trump's stand because they were deceived. And actually, Badri, Mr. Badr, he is obviously a minister in Oman. And on 27 February, he said that Iran has negotiated, in fact, more items or agreed on more items that even Trump and the Trump administration wanted on 27th of February. So you need to go and ask the Omani minister, Mr. Badri, that why he made that claim, because it's true. And that's where it's now confirmed that they went to war, regardless of all the negotiations, and even Iran agreed on more than what was offered or discussed in the negotiations. That's what the Omani minister, Mr. Badri, has said. Politico has reported Trump says strikes on Iranian energy infrastructure pause for 5 days amid US-Iran talks. But Iran is saying, is President Trump negotiating with himself? Because they are not interested in negotiations. However, Senator Mushahid Hussain, who is a former senator in Pakistan, he said that Iranian government has now shown interest and they are genuinely seeking peace as well in this region. And that's where then finally the report came out, and CNN also reported Iranian source says there has been US, quote, US outreach, and Tehran willing to listen. So let's see that something positive shapes up. Pakistan ready to host US-Iran talks, and that's another thing. And now you can see all these people going to their bunkers, as those who are watching me live on social media, Tel Aviv, where on Saturday, a massive alert sounded on Saturday, and then some more pictures and some smoke coming out from Kirkuk, Iraq. And only Tehran is not impacted here. Beirut, Lebanon, millions of people, more than a million now have been displaced. And then here in Ethol, in Ashtal, in Israel, emergency responded to the site of this strike on Saturday. So what happened to Iron Dome here? And then the aftermath of a strike on Saturday here as well in Tehran. So war is brutal. Now, Independent has reported it's really Orwellian, quote unquote, the information war being waged to keep the image of the Dubai dream. Come to Dubai, Habibi. So what happened to that 40 years of image and branding? Who's going to go to Dubai now? Especially the Westerners. So if MBZ, MBS, and Sam, who is obviously another person, the field marshal in Pakistan, Sam, Sayyid Asim Munir, I don't know, many people claim he's not even a Sayyid, but that's again up to him if he puts his name or whatever name at the front of his middle and last name. But Mr. Sam and MBS and MBZ, they have different kind of conflicting priorities. MBZ from UAE, they were all promoting, come to Dubai, Habibi. So now, why is he not angry? Why is he not mad about all of this? Why is he not even mad about those who didn't tell him and attacked Iran, which is a no-brainer now, or were they already in for decades that when this day will come, when they want to see Iran in the rubble or under the rubble? That's another question. We will know very soon because this is the age of social media as well. And here, the analysis in terms of the economy, CNBC has reported a new oil shock is building. The next few weeks of war will be decisive for the economy. So, what would happen not only to food supply? So, people are literally worried. And here I am hopeful, and I hope I'm wrong. But if this war continues, we will see disruption to many supply chains, including food. The Telegraph has reported a crucial early warning radar, and that's where the Telegraph has reported this 370 million pounds of US flying radar plane destroyed by Iran. Now, we should go and ask Telegraph why these reports and these pictures are not being shown for every hour at the top of the hour on all mainstream media channels, because this is called the sanitization or the censorship of war, for lack of a better term. So if there's no news, that's good news. So if people didn't see this plane or Telegraph has not reported and no one would see it, that means no plane went down. And if someone brings up the question, then someone will say it's fake news. But we need to ask the Telegraph, where did this see this plane? Because if you ask any Trump administration official, they'll say, oh, no, they're saying in an Iranian attack on the Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia on Friday, they'll say it's fake news. But it's reported by Telegraph. So this war has gone completely upside down. The entire idea was on 28th February when Trump announced in that 8-minute video, oh, it will be over within few hours or maybe within few days or weeks. And whenever Trump said, when I will say it's over, it will be over. Now Trump cannot end this war because it's going to look really bad on him. And it's all about face saving. US Marines arrive in Middle East as Houthis enter war. So now the ground troops invasion, there's a risk of that. Iran warns US against ground invasion as Pakistan holds diplomatic talks. And here you can see how is that coming along and how is the Pakistan foreign policy. You can see is stumbling. Even the Pakistani FM stumbled on floor. He literally fell on the floor. So that's a good analogy in terms of how is that coming along. And you can see this image as well. We feel sorry for him. I hope he's okay. There is this Al Arabiya in English counterpoints. They did a very good talk show in terms of, has the US already won this war or does Iran have the upper hand? They do. That's what they said, because Iran's game was to continue to prolong this war. And right now, US is trying to replenish ammunition that have been obviously used in the past few weeks. Who needs an end to this war, or more, Iran or the US? They discussed that. And will the US compromise Israeli war aims to security? Well, Benjamin Netanyahu would like to continue this war, but it's not in the best interest of Trump or the Republican Party or those who would like to stay in power, because who's going to vote for them in November if and when we have elections? And I hope I'm wrong, but chances are we may not have elections this year. And this is not a conspiracy. This is just plain common sense. Trump can just declare martial law and we will not see elections this year. And that's where Republicans and Democrats and independent people, and especially those who are in Washington, D.C., congressmen, congresswomen, and senators, they should be asking this question. Iran rejects peace plan. They discussed that, but they are rejecting the 15-point plan, because that plan that Trump sent to them had some ridiculous kind of points that no country would actually agree to it. And then they have sent their own 5-point plan, which was also taking a very extreme position. So right now, that's where we are. And Yaakov Amidror, he is a former national security advisor for Israel, and Senator Mushahid Hussain, former Pakistani Minister for Information and Culture, and Brandon Weichert, senior national security editor at 1945.com, and the author of The Shadow War, Iran's Quest for Supremacy. They discuss this whole situation. And then 2 more arrests, attempted attack on U.S. bank headquarters in Paris. So U.S. assets, U.S. companies are at risk. No Kings protest, Bruce Springsteen to Robert De Niro and others. They also were at the rally. And then remember, only you can prevent fascism. That signboard, and no thrones, no crowns, no kings. So here we are in 2026 discussing things that who would have thought we would be discussing, but this is the America. And someone has posted that. That's right, that. I don't know which that is that, but thank you for watching, and thank you for continue to subscribe and share my YouTube channel, Affordable Insurance of Texas, AITinsurance.com. That's their web address for homeowners insurance, commercial insurance, auto insurance. 713-785-4000, 713-785-4000. www.aitinsurance.com is their web address. They've been in business for decades. They have locations in Houston, Greater Houston, and even other cities in Texas. aitinsurance.com or Affordable Insurance of Texas, 713-785-4000. I would also like to mention Roop Sari Palace for grooms, brides, children of all age groups. You can call them to conduct or schedule a virtual or video tour. 832-267-0065, 832-267-0065, roopsari.com, Roop Sari Palace at Hillcroft. And Chennai, Texas for all your catering needs. They have done 700, 800, 600, 500 people, catering for 500 people, 600, 700 people. They've been in business for over 25 years. Contact Mr. Shahid Ali or call 713-953-1388, 713-953-1388, or visit shahnaitexas.com, SHAHNAITexas.com. Those who are watching me live can see their web address. And with that, if you would like to donate, please donate hhrd.org. Go to that website and donate, make charities, and you can do that. With that, I'm signing off, continuing with the Legacy Media, and next is Big Baller Sports. Thank you.